Today I'm gonna show you how I took my backhand from this to this by just watching 2 videos. If you're anything like me, you love this sport for multiple reasons. It's creative, you can make your bag look like whatever you want it to look like, you get to be outside, it can be competitive if you want it to, or it can just be for fun. But there's one thing that we all share in common, and that's that we want to throw further, right? Right? I want to throw far. Whether or not you're competitive or not, there's this deep down thing of like, oh, I know I'm not throwing correctly, but I don't know how to throw it better. And I'm going to help you with that today. A little bit of background about myself. I'd like to consider myself athletic to an extent. I did all sorts of sports growing up. I was a wrestler. I did football, baseball for a little bit. Basketball wasn't the thing in my school, so we all wrestled. But I wrestled for 11 years, and I enjoyed the last one. When I was growing up in wrestling, my coaches would always tell me good form beats strength every single day. And I think that that concept applies to all sports, not just wrestling or basketball, football. I can only think of those right now. But it also applies to disc golf. And so I think that's apparent with people like Emerson Keith and Mason Ford. They're not exactly the largest or strongest or most ripped people, but they know how to throw a Frisbee further than most of us. Okay, you might be wondering yourself, okay, Mr. YouTube guy that I've never seen before, how do I get good form like Mason Ford, Emerson Keith, those people that know how to throw a Frisbee? I'm going to answer that by telling you 2 videos that I watched that literally blew my mind. The first one being Bedanza Disc Golf's Backhand Boot Camp with Drew Gibson. I was watching it, just kind of skimming through, and there was a couple things that Drew pointed out to Bedanza's form that I know I do, but the number one thing that stuck out to me in this video was Drew kept saying,
"Another day, another victory for the OG."
No, not that. Sorry, wrong clip.
Okay, your cues are different than mine, so like 100%. It's something that you kind of have to work through as well.
You have to establish your feels. And I was like, what on earth does that mean? And then he explained it more in depth later of disc golf feels different for everyone. And this like blew my mind. I was like, wow, I've never thought about it like that. Disc golf feels different for everyone. And so a lot of these guys on YouTube, even pros, they want to tell you like, this is how you should feel when you throw this. But I think a lot of us, if we thought about it, we would explain the exact same like physical exercise of how it feels differently than someone else. And it would be the exact same thing. Like we'd be doing the same push-up, but like I would say, oh, it burns here. And the other person would say, oh, it burns here. So if it all feels different for different people to throw a Frisbee, is there any hope for us? No. Well, sometimes it feels like it for me. I don't know about you guys, because I'll just be throwing a Frisbee and I'll like have no idea what I'm doing wrong. But like sometimes it'll work. And then sometimes I'll throw it and I'll be like, what the, you know what I mean? Like there's time, like it's hard to know what you're doing right or wrong. And I just broke my table. There's times that I'm playing with Noah and Caleb and they'll be like, hey, you're doing this wrong. And then I'll think that I adjust it, but because it feels different in the way they describe it, I don't. Like I literally just, I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. And then I try it and it's like not fixed, but I don't know that because of the feels, if that makes sense. But this leads me to my second video that I watched. And don't hate me for this. If you made it this far and you're like, man, I'm so excited to see what video fixed Alex's form, please don't hate me. Please. But it was literally a slow-mo video of myself. And you might be like, well, this doesn't help me at all, Alex. But I'm willing to bet that since you're watching this video, this is not the first backhand form video you've watched. I'm sure that you've watched some from a lot of different great coaches online, but you're still struggling to fix it because you don't know how to apply it to yourself. And so a lot of us in disc golf and in sports in general will watch these videos of how to do this, how to do this, how to do this, and then we try to apply it to ourselves without watching ourselves do it. And I've heard YouTubers and coaches say to do this before, and I actually do it literally on a weekly basis with Reliant. Like I watch myself throw a Frisbee, but not like I don't watch it to learn how to throw better. I watch it to make content because I think making content is fun, but I still want to get better. And so I was in my backyard and I was throwing the frisbee, couldn't figure it out. I actually had gotten to where my elbow was hurting really bad on backhands. So I was like, I legitimately was thinking that I was going to have to quit disc golf or become a forehand only player. And I really didn't want to be that guy. But in my frustration, I just set my phone down on my son's Jeep, put it in super slow motion and recorded. Couldn't even see my feet. It was like my waist up. And I record a couple shots. And because of all these videos that I had watched, these videos of different YouTubers telling me different YouTubers and pros even, telling me how to throw a frisbee, I was able to look at my form. It was a side angle, so that might help you, but I was able to look and diagnose a couple things. So the first one being that in my reach back, I was leaning, like my whole body, my torso was leaning. That's a no-no. And so the next thing that I was able to diagnose was that I was starting my pull through way too early. So I was starting my pull through at like before and during my foot hit the ground. And in the backhand boot camp video, Drew Gibson talks about like to have a proper weight shift, you want to pause a second, essentially get your foot down and then pull through instead of like running through the throw. And my final point, if you've watched this far, good backhand form isn't made in a day. Like the reality is my form, like I didn't fix my form in one day. I had watched that video and I was able to address that, like keeping my shoulders and like core straight. But there's still times that I go out to the course and because of that repetition and that practice, like in wrestling, we would literally practice the same move. If you counted it all up, it would be like days of practice. Like you have to get it exactly right to where it feels natural. It feels like you're doing, like it feels like you're not doing it because you do it so much, it's just natural. And so in disc golf, it's the same way. A lot of us, because we've been doing these bad habits for so long, it's so hard to break them because of multiple reasons, but because it's a habit. And so in order to break this habit, it's going to take a lot of repetitions to adjust it. And so I literally played around today and I caught myself like 2 or 3 times I was leaning instead of just rotating and powering through. My encouragement to you is it is possible to fix your form. It is possible to throw far or to break a certain barrier. You just have to apply it to yourself. You can take in all the information you want about disc golf form, about disc golf how-tos and different stuff like that. But unless you're willing to apply it to your form, to watch videos of your form, it's not going to change because it feels different for everybody. So if a pro is telling you online, it feels like this, and you go out and try it, but you don't watch a video to make sure it matches up with what they're doing, you're literally just like going in a circle. So you're probably watching this video on your phone. So you have access to both YouTube and to take videos of yourself. So go out and do that. If you haven't watched videos, watch videos from Overthrow, from Slingshot. So go out and take some videos of yourself. If you really want to, you could send them to Caleb, Noah, and I, and we can look at them. Yeah, I'll drop an email on the bottom, but maybe we can help you. We love giving back to this community. This community has been so much fun for us to be a part of, and we want to help you guys. So Caleb and Noah don't know this, but we're going to review form. So last thing, if you've clicked away, that's fine. Goodbye. But Vlogmas. If you really want to see us do Vlogmas, let us know. We're planning to. I don't know how realistic it is for me because I have 2 kids now and I go back to work next week, but we have some fun ideas in mind. So one of them being if we get to 2,000 subscribers before the end of Vlogmas, I'll put with senseis for the next year. So if you want to see that, subscribe because that would be, I don't mind. I think that stuff's kind of fun. Caleb has some stuff in mind that he's going to do if we get to certain subscriber counts, and then we just have some fun ideas. So if you want to follow along for that, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, stay reliant.